Hey, what's up, guys? Wait, wrong intro. Yo, what's good, everybody? Today I have a video that I didn't expect to make, because at this point, not so recently, a situation regarding me and a way larger YouTuber called Elias's Majestic videos has happened. So on his stream, we had an argument which, well, I believe he went too far with how he responded to that. But before we get into that, I'd like to discuss some other situations regarding him and his wrongdoings in general. And I'll split today's video into different parts in which I'll discuss different points. So, let's get into it. So first off, I'd like to discuss his hacking scandals. Yes, he hacked, what a shocker. So every completion on his channel, from Stalemate to Sonic Wave, is proven to be hacked, but most of you already know that. Also, you might be wondering, why am I including this in the video? He admitted hacking long ago, so why would that be necessary? Well, the thing is, he refuses to take down the videos of his completions, which basically lets him gain off of the videos since he's monetized, which is kind of messed up. It's literally just earning off of a lie. Also, he uses the argument that he admitted hacking as a response to the people that call him out for his hacking, which would be fair now if he took down the videos. Anyways, let's move on to the next point. Situation I'd like to address, or just to expose Elias for, is the most recent situation that happened between me and him. But let me take a part of the blame now. I was rage baiting him by calling him out on his hacking scandals and rages on his streams, which was probably the reason on why he reacted that way. Moving on. So firstly he responded to the rage bait by making fun of me for my past bad mental situation, which was mostly the reason that the argument had sparked. But I decided to leave it there for the day, and on the next stream, I'd rage bait him again, which again, my fault, I'm sorry, I guess. However, that day his response would go way too far, with him leaking my first name, nationality, which leaking my nationality isn't that wrong, but I still didn't feel too comfortable with him sharing that. And humiliating me in front of a live chat of 30 people. So let's think about this. He shares my private information on a live stream without my permission, which by the way is a violation of my rights, and goes on to encourage 30 people to make fun of me and turn them against me in general. Here's proof that this actually occurred.
Who hates Sweemus? Who hates this Peens GD guy? His name is Sweemus, by the way. Or better known as Chris. And he's Polish. And he's a Polish dumbass.
And my next point I'll talk about in this part because it is related to this situation. So my friend Son on YouTube who's Son2025, which by the way shout out to him, asked Elias some questions about the situation. For example, why he did it and what went through his mind when he did those things. And here's where it gets even worse. Because he said, and I quote, "I just did it because bruh's being restarted." And went on to explain how I was apparently the one bullying him. So first off, wouldn't be calling me a restart discrimination? And say that I was the one to bully him is just mind-boggling to me. Believe it or not, it doesn't end there, because he claims that leaking my name without my permission is under no circumstance a violation of my rights, which is just blatantly dumb to assume. I would understand if you went through the argument that in some cases it's not a violation, and name the cases in which it's not. But to do zero research and straight up go over arguments like this is just not right. This section of the video, I'll talk about a certain theory that me and my friends came up with. Trust me, it'll make sense. So our theory is that this one YouTuber who's smaller than Elias in terms of subs and viewer count, SpaceGD, is Elias's ult. So first argument backing that up, well, they both turned out to be hackers. It seemed as if Elias attempted to take away the attention from his hacks onto his old Space GD. Secondly, let me just go ahead and say I don't have much proof backing this up, so you don't have to believe me on this. Since I've been with both Elias and Space GD in VC, and Space GD voice revealed only once, and his voice sounded scarily similar to Elias's. Also, always when Elias spoke, Space GD would never even turn on his mic, which would also kind of back that up. And last argument to prove the theory, Elias was the only person in any server that he was in to have such a big obsession with Space UK. You see where I'm going with this? Space UK, Space GD, owning an alt account on Discord named Bird UK, which had the same name and profile picture as Space UK's alt account. And Elias would constantly talk about Space UK, so with all of those arguments gathered, I believe that Space GD is Elias's alt. And if it is, then, then Elias has been doing more messed up things on his alt, mostly just saying out of pocket and straight up inappropriate stuff. Here's some of them. However, if you know more than me about that, let me know. In the midst of making this exposal, I did not exactly mean to offend Elias straight up and turn his community against him, but just make people realize the stuff he's been doing is clearly wrong. And it felt like without this video, it would be impossible to do so. If you have your own take on the situation, make sure to leave it in the comments. And I will see you on the next one. Bye!